Good morning, sir. So, welcome back to SG classes. मित्रों मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, so let us start the revision of the GCA, revision of the General Clauses Act. So, its weightage will be around 8 to 10 marks, beta. Mandatory question in the exam. You cannot expect the question paper without a question from this chapter. So, pakka you can expect one question. So, General Clauses Act. General Clauses Act. So what is the meaning of the General Clauses Act, beta? Actually, it is a General Definitions Act. Which act? General clause means general definition or general provision. General definition or general provision. Yes sir, no sir? Whenever the act is silent, about the meaning of any definition, that definition we will take from the GCA. For example, beta, in every act, section 2 will be there or section 3 will be there to give the definitions of the words used in the act. One act is there. In that act, the word immovable property is used. Which property? Immovable property. But that word is not defined in that act. We will take it from the GCA. One act is there, company set. In that company set, the word year is used. What is used? Year. But the word year is not defined in the company set. We will take it from the GCA. In the company set, the word month is used. M1TH month. But is not defined in the company set. We will take it from the GCA. So it will contain the definition of the few words which are used in the law. These definitions can be applied to any law. Applied to general definitions, general provisions. So act name is General Clauses Act. It means general definitions and general provisions applicable to any act. Applicable to if the special act is silent, उसको बोलते हैं General Clauses Act. So it is deemed to be the law of all other laws. Law of, because this law will be useful to interpret other laws, and it is said to be the dictionary of the other laws because it contains the meaning of the few words which can be applied to any act. Which can be applied to, it's like a dictionary. So whenever we are getting a meaning out of the any word, no, but we will refer the meaning of that word from the this act. It contains the definitions. This act is came into force from the 11th March 1897. MCQ में आने का chance है बेटा. So it is deemed to be law of other laws because it will contain general definitions. So it contains the definition of the few words. Definition of the few words which can be applied into any act. Whenever the special act is silent regarding the definition of the any word, that word's meanings we will take it from the General Clauses Act. So the purpose of the General Clauses Act is to shorten the language of the central legislatures. Shorten the language of the central legislature. So Parliament of India is there. In Parliament of India, so many laws are passed. How many laws, beta? So many laws. In every law, the word month is used. In every law, the word immovable property is used. In every word, the word year is used. I don't want to define the meaning of this words in every law. I will define only once, that is General Clauses Act. To shorten the language of the central legislatures, the Parliament of India don't want to explain the meaning of the same word in the several laws. That's why GCA came. Then, so this act is applicable only to central laws but not to state laws. Every state has to make their own state GCA. The state GCA should be in line with the central GCA. The objective of the act is to shorten the language of the central legislatures, and there must be uniformity of the expression. In every act, year means this meaning only. In every act, month means this definition only. Yes sir, no sir. So we don't want to define the same word in so many laws. We want to define only in one act. This definition is applicable to every act. Uniformity of the meaning of the words used in several laws. So in many countries it is called as the interpretation of the acts, but in India we call it as a General Clauses Act. So worldwide we call it as a interpretation act, but in India we call it as a General Clauses Act. And next, let us start with the meaning of the few things. Beta. Preamble. Preamble means it explains the scope and objective and purpose of the act in summary form. Which form, beta? Summary form. So it explains the main intention of the lawmakers. Why the act is created is explained by the preamble. So its preamble is the part of the act. Preamble cannot be override the intention of the legislature. Preamble This can be used for the purpose of interpretation, but intention of the act is supreme. Next, definitions. Definitions are given in the section 2 and section 3 of the every act to define the meaning of the words used in that act. And if the act is silent, we will take it from the general clause act. Definitions are of the two types: means and includes. Means means it is the exhaust definition. Which definition? Exhaustive. It cannot be extended. It cannot be extended. It defines about exactly. For example, company means a company registered under this act or any of the previous company law. So company means it cannot be extended. If definition starts with the word includes, it is extended. It is extended. You can add something else also which is not given in the act. So it is not defined the word exactly. This word is prima facie extensive. We can extend the meaning of the definition given in the definition itself. Next, if the definition starts with means and includes, it means exhaustive, cannot be extended. Means exhaustive, includes means extended, means and includes also exhaustive only. Next, to apply and to include means include only. Means is equal to exhaustive. You can't extend. Full stop is there. Includes is equal to, it can be extended. Comma is there. You can add something else in your interpretation. And means and includes is equal to means only. That means exhaustive. You can't add something else. And to apply and to include is equal to includes only, which can be extended. Which can be extended. Next, shall and may. Generally, shall is deemed to be mandatory force and may will have the dietary force or optional in nature. If two definitions are, if any provision is there which starts with the shall, that is mandatory provision, which means imperative and mandatory, and you have to obey as it is. If any provision starts with the may, it means it is enabling in nature, dietary in nature, which is optional in nature. Next, from here, very important from exam point of view, beta. First one, definition of the act. Act means activity. Act means doing something. Act means doing something. Act includes any offense or civil wrong. It includes the series of activities, series of the words and illegal omissions also. And 2 mark के लिए आते बेटा. Next, definition of the affidavit exam में 2 बार आया बेटा. 20 and 19 में आया. Definition of the affidavit. This is not there in your material. लिखो बेटा if you want. है ना? So this was asked twice in the exam. Affidavit means written statement confirming some fact. Affidavit means written statement confirming some fact. Affidavit shall include affirming or declaring. Affirming means accepting. Declaring means you are expressing your intention other than the swearing. Central Act. Central Act means Act of the Parliament of India. Central Act means Act of Parliament of India. After independence, before independence, Central Act means Act passed by the Dominion Legislature or Indian Legislature passed or the Governor General. Simply, Central Act means after independence, Parliament of India. Before independence, Act passed by the Dominion Legislature or the Governor General. Governor General is a designation in the British Army. Governor General of the British India is the ultimate authority in India, representing the British government. Yes sir, no sir. So right now, Parliament of India is there. Before independence, in the place of Parliament of India, who is there beta? Governor General or the Dominion Legislature. Dominion means locality. Right now we are having a states, no? Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, like that. Once upon a time we used to have the dominions. Then beta. So Central Act means right now Act passed by Parliament of India. Before independence, Act passed by the Dominion Legislature or the Governor General. Next, central government means, definition of the central government. Central government means Parliament of India right now after independence. Before independence, Governor General Council. Central government means after independence, Parliament of India. Before independence, Governor General Council or Governor General. Yes sir, no sir. Then yes sir, no sir. Along with the subordinates. So Governor General Council and their subordinates like Government of Province or the Principal Government, something he given, but ultimately that is the meaning of the government. Next, this was asked once in the exam for 2 marks beta, 3 marks beta. April 21, commencement. क्या है बेटा? Commencement. If Act is passed in the Parliament of India, if act is passed in the Parliament of India on 10/10/2010, act is deemed to be commencing from that date only. But act is passed in the Parliament of India on 10/10/2010. They specifically notified we want to commence. Government want to commence it from the 11/11/2010. Then the act is deemed to be commencing from the this date. So separate dates are specified for passing and commencing. So separate dates will be applicable. If this date is not available, so the act is deemed to be passed on the 10/10/2010 and applicable from the 10/10/2010 only. Next, definition of the document. This was asked once in the exam. Document includes any matter written, prescribed, described on any substance. The substance may be paper, the substance may be metal, the substance may be leaf. Why we are writing, what we are writing in the form of letters, in the form of figures, in the form of the marks also. Next, definition of the enactment. Definition of the enactment. This was not asked in the exam. Enactment means simply act, law. Simply enactment means law. So after independence, it includes the act of parliament or act of the state government. But before independence, enactment means law passed by the, it includes a regulation or law passed by the Bengal, Madras Domain Code, including the any provision contained in the Madras Code, Bombay Code and Bengal Code also. And after independence, it means act means after independence, act of central government, act of the state government. And yeah, before independence, it means rule, regulation of the Bengal, Madras and Bombay. Simply, act means right now act of central government, act of the state government. Before independence, rule and regulation or law of the Bengal, Madras and Bombay is deemed to be the act. Next, financial year and year. This question was asked so many times in the exam. Financial year means 1st April to 31st March of the subsequent year. Year means January to December as per British calendar. Then financial year means 1st April to 31st March of the subsequent year. Year means January to December. Next, good faith was asked 1-2 times in the exam. What is the meaning of the good faith? Good faith means and things shall be deemed to be done in the good faith. In fact, it is done honestly. If you're doing something honestly, that is deemed to be done in the good faith. Next, definition of the government. Government includes definition of the government. Government includes central government and state government. Government security means security held by the central government or the state government. Immovable property is very important, sir. Immovable property. Asked so many times in the exam. Immovable property includes land. If you purchase immovable property, we will get the land and benefits arising out of the land. For example, in the land, one tree is there. We also we will become the owner of the tree. And things attached to the earth like well. Well is there. Yes sir, no sir. Clear na? So next imprisonment. Imprisonment means imprisonment as defined under the Indian Penal Code. Indian law. Next one is the Indian law. Indian law includes act, ordinance, regulation, rule, order, bylaw or any other instrument before commencement of the constitution. Then yes sir, no sir. So Indian law means simply law passed in the Parliament of India. Law passed in India. Law passed in India before independence and after independence also. Next, month. Month means month as per British calendar. Movable property means other than the movable property. Oath means any accept, affirmation or the declaration. Movable property was asked for 3 marks. Definition once. Offense. Offense means any activity or omission punishable by law. Offense means doing something or not doing something which is punishable by law. Official gazette was asked once in the exam. Official gazette means Gazette of India or Gazette of the state. Gazette means official newspaper of the Parliament, official newspaper of the Assembly. इसको बोलते हैं gazette. Person. It was asked in the exam twice. Person includes a company, association, BOI, registered or not. Registered means registered in India. Definition of the registration. Registered means registered in India. Next. Rule means rule made in India under the act. It includes the regulation also. Schedule means schedule of the act. Section means section of the act. Subsection means subsection of the section. Swear means accepting or declaring. Accepting or declaring. Swear on the Bible, Gita, Quran. Writing. Writing includes the printing, lithography, photography, and any other mode for reproducing the words in the visible form. Year means year as per the British calendar, January to December. Next, from here, very very important, sir. So, एक chapter का नाम है General Clauses Act, which means general definitions and general provisions. We have done with the general definitions. We left with the general provisions. Section 5 comes into operation of enactment. Comes into operation of enactment. Just now we have discussed. When act is passed in the parliament on 10/10/2010, but the act specifically notifies we want to apply this act from the 11/11/2010. So act is deemed to be commencing from the this date only. If this date is not specified, act is deemed to be commencing from 10/10/2010. ये एग्जाम में आया. Next, effect of the repeal, very important. Repeal means remove. Repeal means remove or revoke. Repeal means remove or the revoke. For example, we discussed about this word in the CA Foundation Contract Act, Sales of Goods Act. Section 76 to 123 of the Indian Contract Act are repealed. They formed a new act called the SOGA. Yes sir, no sir. So, for example, once upon a time we used to have the Companies Act 1956. It is repealed. Once upon a time we used to have the FERA. It is repealed. Repeal means removal of the act. Repeal means removal. Then beta, if act is repealed, no beta, we will assume it never exists. It will never exist. Even the act is repealing. The repeal shall not affect these four things. Very very important, but you should remember. The repeal shall not affect the prior management. In the old companies that we are appointed Ganesh as the director. In the old companies that we are appointing Ganesh as the director. Then act is repealed. Still Ganesh will continue as director of the company. Director will not be removed just because act is changed, and will not affect the claim, privilege, responsibility obtained under the old act. In the old act we used to have the section 8 company. Now we are calling it a section 8 company. Once upon a time section 25 company. Now it is section 8 company. उसको बोलते हैं NPO बेटा, non-profit organization. If a NPO is there, it was getting license under the old Companies Act under section 5 as NPO. That act is repealed. Still the license will continue under section 8 of the new Companies Act. Then beta. And in the old Companies Act we are punishing the director for 10 years in imprisonment in the 2012. In 2013 the old act is repealed. Still the punishment will continue. In the old Companies Act inquiry was started. The act was repealed. Still inquiry will continue under the new Companies Act. Even the act is repealed, it will not affect the claims made under old act, shall not affect the punishments under the old act, inquiries made under the old Companies Act. And there is a difference between the repeal and deletion. ये भी exam में आ रहा है बेटा. Repeal means we are assuming that the act never existed except for the above four purposes. Deletion means once upon a time act is there, now it is not there. उसको बोलते हैं deletion. Repeal means removing as if it never exists. Once upon a time not there, now also not there. उसको बोलते हैं repeal. Deletion means once upon a time it was there, now it is not there. उसको बोलते हैं deletion. Done till now everyone. Next, revival of the repealed enactments. Revival means rebirth. Once act is repealed, Companies Act 1956 is repealed, replacing with the reviving as 2013 Companies Act. FERA repealed, reviving it as a FEMA. Reviving it as a FEMA. Revival means rebirth. Once act is repealed, so we may give the rebirth to same act with amendment or without amendment, mostly with amendments. Next, construction of the references to repealed enactments. The concept exam में आया बेटा एक दो बार, and very important concept. In once upon a time there was an act called Companies Act 1956. In that Companies Act, old Companies Act, section 212 deals with the profits of the company. 212, and this 212 was referred in the Income Tax Act 1961 in section 115 JB. If you see Income Tax Act 115 JB, so company has to pay the tax on the profits as per section 212 of the Companies Act 1956. But unfortunately, right now this act is not exist. Yes sir, no sir. So for the 212 in the old Companies Act, corresponding section in the new Companies Act is section 128. Section 128. Companies Act 2013. In old Companies Act 212 deals with the profits of the company. In the new Companies Act 128 deals with the profits of the company. So if you read in the Income Tax Act, when you read 212 of the old Companies Act, you have to understand it as a 128 of the new Companies Act. This question was asked once in the exam. Section 8. Next, section 9. Commencement and termination of the time. Asked so many times in the exam, beta. Very, very important. So, if any act specifies any duration in the act, how to calculate the duration? From date should be excluded, to date should be included. For example, company has to distribute dividend within 30 days of declaration. Within 30 days of declaration. If dividend is declared on the, for example, 16/6/25, we have to count the 30 days from 17th. From date should be excluded. To date should be included. Then 30th day we have to include. 30th day we have to include. So from date you have to exclude. To date we have to include. You have the exam within 7 days, which means we have to count 7 days from tomorrow. Today you have to exclude. From date you have to exclude. To date you have to include. This concept was asked so many times in the exam. Next, section 10, computation of the time. So if act says something to be done on a specific day, if that last day is holiday, if the last day is the holiday, it will be sufficient complaints if you're doing on the next day. For example, beta, company has to file the return with ROC within 30 days of resolution. Within 30 days of the 30th day is the holiday, for example. Then you can file the return on the next day also. Then still it is deemed to be complied. Clear? Section 11, measurement of the distances. Exam में दो बार आया बेटा. How to calculate distance in the act? If act says it describes any, for example, income tax, 12 nautical miles will be there. So how to calculate the 12 nautical miles? You have to calculate this nautical miles on the straight line on the horizontal plane, not like this. You have to calculate on the straight line basis. Next, duty. Duty means tax, customs duty, excess duty. Duty to be taken on a pro rata basis. For example, excess duty if you're manufacturing one bottle of the wine, you have to pay 10 rupees duty. If you're manufacturing 100 bottles, how much you have to pay? 100 rupees. We should take it on the pro rata basis. Which basis, beta? Next, gender. देखो कितना बड़ा एग्जाम में. So gender, male includes female, female includes male, and number, singular includes plural, plural includes the singular. Power conferred to be exercised from time to time. Conferred means given, exercised means used, from time to time means required. If police officer has a right to use the gun or shoot the person, he should shoot the person only if it is required. If any power is given to any officer, that power can be utilized by officer only if it is required. Faculty has a right to send the student out. Yes, I can exercise this power if required only. For time pass, I should not send the students outside. Then next, section 14 हो गया. Power to appoint includes power to appoint the ex officio. Ex officio means office. Ex officio means the chair in the office. Yes sir, no sir. For example, principal office, chairman office, CMO, chief minister office, PMO, prime minister office, collector office. You know that. So power to, so being a CM, I have a right to appoint the collector. I have a right to appoint the collector office also. Then so power can be given by name or by virtue of the office. Power to appoint include power to suspend also. This question asked once in the exam beta. When any principal has a right to appoint the vice principal, that's it. In the act, When I have a power to appoint, I have the implicit power to remove also, dismiss also. Next, substitution of the functionaries. Functionaries means a person who is performing the particular activity in the college. Principal, one functionary; vice principal, one functionary; senior faculty, one functionary; junior faculty, one functionary; in police department, constable, one functionary which perform one activity; head constable, one functionary; CI, SI, DGP, IAS, all these are the functionaries. Functionary means a person performing the particular activity. Clear na beta? So we can appoint a person by office or by the functionary also. The responsibility can also be given. So one VIP is coming. Panjagutta police station will take care of the security of the that particular person, or SI of the Panjagutta will take care of the security of the particular VIP. Then we can assign the duties by office or by the person. Successors means next person. If any rule is applicable to any officer, the same rule is applicable to the next officer taking the place of the earlier officer. Then next, official chiefs and subordinates. Chief means superior, subordinate means next category. If any rule is applicable to any superior, the same rule is applicable to his subordinate also. Construction of the orders issued under the enactments. Construction of the orders. One act is there, Companies Act 1956. 2013. In this Companies Act, there were securities defined. Which word is defined? Security means security as defined under SECRA, Security Contracts Regulation Act, or SEBI. And under this act, one order is issued. Beta, what is issued? One order. In the order also, the word security is used. What is used? The word security. The meaning of the security will be remain same as that of the act. Then you're able to understand? Next, power to issue includes power to add, amend, vary, resend, notification. When I have a power to make the rule or notification, I have the implicit power to alter the notification also. So I am the registrar of companies. When I have the power to issue the notice, a circular, I have right to alter the circular also impliedly. Next, making of the rules, bylaws and commencing the orders between the passing and the commencing period. So act is passed on 4/4/24. We want to apply the act from the 1/1/25. When act is passed 4/4/24. When act is applicable 1/1/25. In this 8 months, government has the power to make the rules, bylaws, orders, appointing the officers, appointing the court to issue the notification, etc. But all this will be applicable from the date of commencement of the act. So when act is passed 4/4/24, when we want to apply after 8 months, in this 8 months period, you can make the rule, regulation, bylaw, officer, office, etc. Whatever you can do under the act, but all this will take the effect only after commencement of the act. Next, mostly completed beta. Provisions applicable to making of the rules, bylaws, previous publication. Previous means before. Previous means before. Before publication. So for example, Government of India want to make the rule for the pharma industry. Which industry? Pharma industry. They want to apply this rule from the, for example, 1/10/10/25. Government of India want to make some rule to pharma industry from 10/10/25. Before applying the rule to this industry, we have to the draft copy. Which copy? Draft copy. We have to give the draft copy to the pharma industry and to consider their objections and suggestions. My dear pharma industry, so from this date you people have to maintain the cost records. If you have any objections, suggestions, please communicate us only before 9/9/25. If we are making any rule for any specific group of people, before applying that rule to that group of people, we have to inform to, we have to communicate to those group of people, and we have to consider their suggestions, objections. Then ये भी एग्जाम में आया, एक दो बार आया, देखो 1-2 times आया बट एग्जाम में. Next question. Continuation of the orders etc. passed under the old act. So there was a act called Compulsory 1956. In that act, under this act, one order was issued. After that, this act is repealed. Even the act is removed, this order will continue until the order is specifically quashed, removed, withdrawn, or modified. Even one act is done, under the act one rule came, even the act is removed, act will continue, that order will continue unless specifically removed. Recovery of the fines. In every act will specify how to recover the fines under that act. Act is there, fine is there, but act is not specifying how to recover the fines. So under that act, fines will be recovered as per the Indian Penal Code or the Code of Criminal Procedure. We have to follow the procedure prescribed under the Indian Penal Code. Done. Next, section 26 beta. Provisions as to offense punishable under 2 laws. ये देखो कितना बड़ा exam है. So one offense is there, that offense is punishable under the SEBI Act and Companies Act. We have to punish the company twice at once, only once. Single offense should not be punished under the two acts. Then if any offense is there, if such offense is punishable under more than one act, that the offender should be punished only any one of the act, but not under the 2 lakhs. ये देखो कितना बड़ा है. Next one, meaning of the service by post. Meaning of service by post, very important from exam point of view beta. Service by post. As per the act, if any notices should be given to any person, for example, as per Companies Act, company has to give 21 clear days notice to shareholder. Yes sir, no sir. So how to calculate, how to send the notice? The notice is deemed to be served on the person if it is properly addressed, properly prepaying, and sending through registered post. It is deemed to be sending on the member, and it is deemed to be serving the member in the ordinary course of the post, that is 48 hours from the sending. It generally will reach, and even member is even for example exam mein aaya beta, act says you have to send the letter by the registered post plus acknowledgement to you, but you are sending only to registered post. Valid, invalid? Invalid, because act is required in the acknowledgement also, but you are not giving the any acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means second letter, you have to add it to primary letter. So after reaching the primary letter to the receiver, he will send it back to you. इसको बोलते हैं acknowledgement. Very famous once upon a time. And then and if the company sending the letter to you, if you are refusing, still it is deemed to be sent to you only. You are accepting only. Even you are refusing, it is deemed to be serving on you. Then next, citation. Citation means explanation. Citation means explanation. Act can be cited with the title or short title or year of incorporation. And a provision can be cited by section number and subsection number. Section number and subsection number. Then next, whatever there in this act will applicable to the acts passed after this act. Before this act, some other act is there. Some other act was interpreted differently. It will not be affected. And this act is not only applicable to acts, this act also applicable to the interpretation of the ordinances also. With this, we have done with the revision of the GCA, General Clauses Act. Done. Have a great time. Enjoy the day. Prepare well. Is this signing off. Take care.